Middlesbrough Fight Academy. I've got a long and storied history with this gym, just outside of the centre of Middlesbrough in the northeast of England. It's home to current, as of recording, Cage Warriors champions George Hardwick, the lightweight champion, and Harry Hardwick, the featherweight champion. In no other history of Cage Warriors or any other promotion, as far as I know, have two brothers been champions at the same time of different weight classes. Now, this isn't by accident. Somebody posted something recently about the best base for being an unbelievable combat sports athlete is to have a brother that is also into combat sports that you can train with, spar with at the same time. Look at the Ritola brothers, look at the Tackett brothers, all phenomenal. The hardest thing about training combat sports is that you always need another person there to train with you. And that's something that Harry and George have had in spades since they both started combat sports many, many years ago. That's not the only reason that they're champions. They're obviously phenomenal athletes, and they have done their entire training pretty much at Middlesbrough Fight Academy. They obviously travel around to different gyms, but the bulk of their training has been done at Middlesbrough Fight Academy. When I first took an interest in actually training mixed martial arts, I was training at what you'd call a McDojo now, or a Mickey Mouse gym. And I had an inkling that it was like that. I just didn't really know of any other gyms or any other places to train. If you rewind, this is maybe 10, 11, 12 years ago. This is back before MMA was as popular as it is now. It was still popular. It was nowhere near what it is now. And also, neither was social media. Instagram was a place where you posted pictures of your food, and Facebook was a place where you posted updates about what you did on your night out the night before. And your mum wasn't on there, your nana wasn't on there. Businesses, aside from nightclubs, pretty much weren't on there either. So it was hard to find a directory of somewhere to train and kind of understand what the vibe is. I think I googled no training places in Middlesbrough at the time, and I probably picked the first result on there, which is the gym that I was at. I really wanted to learn Muay Thai. I'd heard crazy things about it. I'd watched videos online about it, and it just looked like this absolutely crazy sport. Because of the situation I was in, I was working in nightclubs at the time, and a few incidents had happened. I thought, I need to learn how to defend myself, so I'm going to learn the most fucking mental sport I can. And that, to me, at the time, seemed like Muay Thai. I was a big fan of Anderson Silva and John Jones, and I just thought, yeah, let's do this absolutely bonkers thing. It scared the shit out of me. Elbows, knees, as well as punches and kicks and clinches and all that magic stuff that you see now. I walked into what I thought was a Muay Thai gym. I'd rang them up actually to check when the classes were on, because there wasn't much information on the website. And they said, come down, it'll be a decent training session. We'd love to have you. So I packed my bag, nervous as can be, finished work that day and walked over to this gym. While I was waiting for the kids class to wrap up, there was a guy next to me who was about 6'4", bald, shredded, and he was wrapping his hands, and he had a tattoo on his foot that said, "Pain is just weakness leaving the body," or something like that. And at the time I thought, that is the hardest tattoo I've ever seen in my life, and I thought, I do not want that guy to kick me in the face with that foot. But here I am. When training commenced, we actually did lots and lots of crazy stuff. Double flying knees, jumping 360 roundhouse kicks, very little basics, really flashy stuff to get somebody like me to buy in at the time. I thought it was fucking awesome. I was dreading the end of the session because I thought we were going to be sparring. And once we'd done loads of technique and tested some bits with our partners, wearing pads, that was it. The class was over and there was no sparring. So I continued, and I carried going to this gym for a while, and I was thinking, when's the sparring going to start? I was nervous, thinking they were going to drop it on us. And I chatted to the instructors, and I also chatted about competing, and they said, we don't really spar. We do this thing called like point sparring. And I was like, okay, what's that? And they told me about it, and I wasn't that sold on it. I wanted to do Muay Thai, the type of Muay Thai that I saw in MMA. I also wanted to train MMA and was interested in the grappling side of it. But yeah, they just didn't seem to do it. I continued training there for a while because I just didn't know of anywhere else to train at the time. Until one day, very serendipitously, I was on the bus to my then girlfriend's house, up Linthorpe Road in Middlesbrough. 2 young men got off the bus, and I noticed on the back of their hoodies was a logo that said MFA, and underneath it, Middlesbrough Fight Academy. Immediately I thought, what the fuck is Middlesbrough Fight Academy? I'm in Middlesbrough and I want to learn how to fight, and I'm not learning how to fight where I am at the minute. After I'd got home that night, opened up my laptop and started googling Middlesbrough Fight Academy. I was greeted by pictures of Abdul Mohamed, the gym owner, looking very scary with his top off, and a list of accolades next to his name. It had a brief timetable on the website and some pictures of Jamie Taylor as well, who has always been and is still currently my grappling coach. And I thought, this is the place that I need to go to. I must have spent weeks and weeks and weeks. I think I emailed them, obviously got no response, and just wanted to try training at Middlesbrough Fight Academy. I thought, this is the real deal. This is the type of gyms that I've seen on YouTube, on the internet, where people kick fuck out of each other. So one Thursday, I eventually built up the guts to go down, and I actually messaged my good friend Luke McWhinney, who went on to have an MMA career and is still to this day a very good striker. And I said, what are you doing tonight? I'm going to try this kickboxing gym. I want to try this Muay Thai thing out. Do you want to come with me? Bored and with nothing else to do, Luke decided to come with me, bless him. So we both walked to Middlesbrough Fight Academy. I don't know what he was thinking at the time, and I should probably ask him. But I walked to the gym up Linthorpe Road, and it's quite hard to find Middlesbrough Fight Academy. It's actually above a supermarket, and you have to go down an alley, through an intimidating green door, and there's these legendary steps that you walk up to get into the gym. As me and Luke opened the door, looked up the steps, Abdul, for whatever reason, was stood at the top of the stairs with his top off. And as we ascended the stairs, Abdul said in his accent, which I won't imitate here, "Who are you?" And I said, I'm Rick, and this is Luke. At the time, Luke was still is covered in tattoos. He had more than me. Rick? Luke? I said, yeah. Where'd you come from? And it seemed really intimidating at the time. And it's because, I imagine, back in those days, people would drop into MMA gyms, unheard of, from nowhere, and try and prove a point. So I think he was trying to suss us out. You know, people probably had fights lined up, and he was thinking, who are these guys? I don't want them just wandering into my gym. I said, I've done a little bit of kickboxing at this place, and I named the gym, and I seen the look in his eye, and I thought, he understands that it's a Mickey Mouse gym, and took a look at me and thought, yeah, he's probably not going to be any trouble. He asked Luke. Luke said, yeah, this is my first time. I think it was £5 a session then. It's still £5 a session now, which is an absolute bargain for top level training. And we were a bit early, so before the Muay Thai class taken by Stephen Long at the time, we sat and watched the No-Gi Jiu Jitsu class, which was on before, and I was like, this is that thing that I've seen on the UFC. I'll sit and, we sat and watched this and thought, what the fuck are they doing? This looks absolutely bonkers, but it wasn't what we were there for. We did the first Muay Thai class, and there's a brutal, savage warm-up, which they still have now. Really, really strong conditioning at Middlesbrough Fight Academy. And then we did, plenty of technique, some really good technique, which I loved and I have always loved. And then we sparred, and there was maybe 20 guys on the mat sparring, all a fairly competent level. And I remember the guy that I sparred with, and he's a friend now, and I still say hello to him when I see him. But he put it on me in a way that wasn't nasty, it wasn't horrible, but he just put me in my place. He didn't beat me up, but after that first round of sparring, because I had basically in my arsenal some fucking flying knees, a jumping 360 roundhouse kick, which I still can't do to this day, and some bad other kicks, and no boxing. I specifically remember finishing the round with him thinking, I've just wasted all of my time at this other gym. I actually don't know how to fight. I know nothing about fighting, but this is the place where I'm going to learn. And inevitably, over time, I got better at Muay Thai, started doing privates in Muay Thai. But what would happen is I'd finish work and I'd hate sitting around waiting for that 7:30 class to start. And I was, a young lad, mid-20s. And I thought, I've got it in me to do 2 sessions at once, so I might as well go early and try some of that jiu-jitsu. So we used to double up on a Thursday and we'd do Nogi Jiu Jitsu and then Muay Thai. Eventually, over a really long period of time, I stopped the Muay Thai at the end of the sessions and was just turning up for the Nogi Jiu Jitsu. But I remember my first class with Jamie. Jamie, I think, had just got his brown belt, and we were in the middle of associating with Stealth. There was, again, at the time, there was no such thing as beginners classes. There was no, warming up to the gym in terms of like free sessions or free gis when you sign up for a 10-week beginners course or anything like that. The marketing wasn't there because people didn't understand. There wasn't enough people involved in it to turn it into a product at the time, which it is now. I'm glad that all those things have happened and people are making it more accessible. But equally, it was really, really fun and quite cool being thrown in at the deep end and just being like, where the fuck am I? I'm going to have to learn all this shit really quickly in order to learn to defend myself. First class, partnered up with my good buddy Luke, and we learned X-Guard, which was the first move I ever learned in Jiu Jitsu, and I probably still don't use it today, to be honest. I know some sweeps in there and stuff, but it's not really a go-to. But I didn't even know what a guard was, let alone an X-Guard, as all people are when you first start Jiu Jitsu. I was completely drowning, but I loved every second of it, and I had this immediate feeling grappling with somebody where I thought, I kind of know this, I kind of know what to do. And I grew up with a brother who was quite close in age, and I thought, this is kind of just like wrestling with my brother, so I can do this. It felt really, really natural. Now, I then trained there in Jiu Jitsu, eventually put a gi on about 2 years later, and, was training mixed martial arts, was training Muay Thai, was training Jiu Jitsu there. Gradually, I stopped getting punched in the head because I was sick of going home with headaches, and I wasn't going to be the next Conor McGregor, and I just focused on my Jiu Jitsu. Thank you for listening and watching. Appreciate your time. Big love. Check out reapjujitsu.com for all our wares. See you soon.